Hello everybody, this is part 3 of the disassemble and reassemble of your Crosman 1077. On the last episode we had torn everything apart. I forgot to show you 3 parts here that come out. They're simple parts. It's called a latch pin, and a latch spring. They come out real easy. You just pull out the latch itself, the latch pin, and the latch spring is on it. Now, those all got to go back in that same order. The latch spring goes in a certain way. It goes with the things up and pointing towards the back of the gun. The latch pin, or the latch, goes on this way with the long part going down. The latch pin is what you put in very first when you go to reassemble. Okay, so now we're back to the other parts of the gun. At one point, at the end of this video, I'm going to be removing my barrel and finishing up a rifling project that I had, and I'll show you here in a moment. It left some burring inside of my barrel opening and exit, and I'm going to use several of these wool bits for your Dremel tool and some rubbing compound, polishing compound, and I'm going to polish the opening and the exit of that barrel and make sure that there's no burring, and then reassemble. At this point, we've got all of our parts on the table here. The one major thing that we're going to need to do is change a face seal. Everybody who has a 1077 needs to learn how to change a face seal, because you're going to have to do it. As you can see, mine, I don't know if you can see down into there or not, but mine is like crushed in. It's not good anymore. How you remove that is there is a collar in here. There's a little notch on both sides here. I use my thumbnail to loosen it. I remember about what the pressure is when I take it out, and I try to duplicate that pressure when I put it back in, because on a face seal you can leave it too loose and it'll leak, or you could leave it too tight and it'll leak. So you gotta try to match what the manufacturer did to be able to retighten it. See, and all I'm doing is pulling out the old worn out face seal with the screwdriver. It's not gonna hurt anything. Get in there, boom. You can see, as you can see, that face seal is pretty worn. That's garbage. There are other parts inside there. There's a piercing assembly, and there is also this ring. Used to have a screen in it, kind of like a faucet screen that's inside your faucet where the water comes out. Not a good idea in my opinion. What I did is I used an X-Acto knife and I cut the screen out. Because if you don't, you're going to have to disassemble your gun about once every couple of months to clean this screen out, if you can get the screen cleaned. So what you do is cut the screen out, but you got to put this ring back in there very first thing. That goes in there because you don't want to have spacing issues. If you don't put that in there, then your powerlet's not going to be able to reach the piercing that black piercing thing. It won't be able to reach it. It'll be just shy and it'll be leaking all the time. I have another face seal here. I'm just going to sit it in. They go in either way. They're the same copy of each other on either side. Then I got it in there nice and solid. Then I put this retaining ring in there, and I screw it until it gets to be finger tight. Then I take my big fingernail and I tighten it to where it's as tight as I can get it reasonably with my fingernail. You want to get it tight enough to where it doesn't vibrate loose, of course. But you don't want to get it, you don't want to get a screwdriver in there and start cranking on it, because then you're going to cause leaks instead of fixing leaks. Okay, the way that this goes back together is, you can see I already have my seal, one of my seals right here is already down inside of that hole. But this is just my opinion, and maybe others will not agree with me. That seal right there comes out. That seal right there has been in this gun for over 11 months. My seals are good seals, man. They're good seals. I borrow the philosophy from their valve assembly. Has a thing called a spacer down inside of that hole. That way it gives makes it more of a concave area, so you can get your piercing or your CO2 transfer tube stuck in there inside of the valve assembly. Well, I borrowed the same philosophy, and I'm going to use that on my CO2 piercing assembly. I'm going to put that one of these down inside of that hole. That way I got more space. And then I'm gonna put my O-ring in. It's a little tight. You just gotta take it, and you gotta take it just like I say on my directions, and just work it into the hole. Bingo. That's all you gotta do. Then you pick up your CO2 compression tube, and you want to insert this in so that this goes down far enough to get underneath there, but yet leave that exposed so you can get your CO2 transfer tube in there, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out of the valve assembly, and I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here so that I can get it in place. Now I felt it go down inside there. That's what we want. Might not be just right. Sometimes these give you a fit, and it may be the spacer back there is hindering. Yes, I'm going to abandon the spacer idea. I'll take that spacer out of there. Just doesn't seem like it wants to go in as well as it should. Okay, let's take that O-ring back off. Let's put it inside. Let's get our bushing, work it in there. Let's get our CO2 transfer tube, and let's get it inside of the hole. Let's see, that time I felt it work. Okay, now we got to make sure that bushing is all the way down, and we got to insert it into the compression tube, which is like that. Now once you get it to where the compression tube is touching up against the back of this groove, it lines that hole up where your pin goes back in to hold it in place. So now I just insert the pin the best that I can. You get it started a little bit, and then you unclamp your clamp, and then now we got it in there. I'm going to pull the transfer tube out, and I'm going to bring over a piece of wood so I don't ruin my wife's table, and I'm going to sit it on that piece of wood, and I'm just going to go boom, 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 boom. Not very hard, just hard enough to get it in the hole. That is how that's done. Looks like my camera lady is telling me we're getting close to the amount of time that we have for this video. So we're gonna have to end this video number 3, and we'll see you back for number 4.